three. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
I have no idea what just happened with that.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
All right. Well, not the intro we wanted, but hey, everybody, breaking news. The deal is done. Hey, if you could please hit that like, that subscribe button would really help us out as we march towards 500. We finally got the news we were waiting for. The Department of Justice and Kirkland & Ellis and Voyager and the UCC all agreed upon a new structured deal where creditors, that is all of us that are probably watching this show right now or involved, are finally going to get their crypto in kind and funds back. I see a cigar there as a nice prop. So, Mr. FOMO, it looks like that, yes, indeed, this is finally over. And hey, Simon, thanks for joining us. And this is the official tweet that came out just a few hours ago here. And it's Voyager and the UCC are working with Binance US to move forward as quickly as possible once the stipulation is approved by the district court. That is just a finality here. Basically, they reached a resolution. The plan is going to go forward, and the district court is going to sign off on it. And people are going to be asking the $1 million question here. How long before you get your crypto / cash back? I'm going to say around 1 to 2 weeks is the estimate as of now. That could change later in the day, but we're thinking that because the district court's going to probably act either this week or early next, and then it's going to take a couple days. So I'm thinking just be patient. I know it's patient, 10 months, but I'm thinking a week here, and this is good, right? There's nothing higher than the DOJ that's going to strike this down. So we're looking good. I mean, looking good. We want to remind you guys, this is only going to be about a 48 to 50% dispersal. And then the rest is still being held back because there's a dispute between Alameda, FTX, and Voyager with a clawback. Yeah, so that's still kind of in the air. But Mr. FOMO, finally some good news people have been waiting for and deserve.
All right. Yeah. So we talked about it pre-show. This is finally where we get back to the point where your portfolio is your responsibility again, right? The opportunity cost is going to stop being taken away from you. You're going to get your money back. You will be able to reinvest in the market before the bull run starts. This is all really great news. This is something we were really worried about just, I think, a week ago. And now it looks like we're finally going to get our hands on our crypto, or at least the value, or 50% of the value. But anyway, we'll be able to get back into the market with that money or do whatever we need to do with that money, right? And so I think this is great news for anybody who is a Voyager customer, obviously, but this is, got to be that sigh of relief that a lot of people who had hundreds of thousands or even millions into the platform, this is that sigh of relief they've been waiting for. So I hope this is a huge weight off of some of your shoulders, if not all of your shoulders. And I hope to see some more positive tweets, because we saw some pretty awful things out of people. One of the reasons why we, started doing this is because people were so lost, and we were so lost in this process, and we didn't know what was going on. But so, it hasn't just been about the show. It's also been about, taking care of people out there who are going through the same thing as us, and putting people in the know and giving them that peace of mind. But I'm glad we're finally to the end of this. I'm glad this is over and we can get back to talking about regular crypto trading.
Yeah, the keyword here is closure, and it's not quite there, right? So you're still looking at 20 to 25% in that range being withheld from you, and that can't get resolved until the Alameda FTX thing. And, to give everyone a kind of a timeline, I'm expecting that to happen within the next month or two. I'm going to be optimistic here. I think there's a settlement involved, just like the DOJ and Voyager came up with a settlement. There's going to be a settlement involved with Alameda FTX, because I don't think Alameda FTX has a lot to stand on here. And I do think that's going to get resolved. So I'm thinking we can kind of put this to bed. It is a great day. Thanks to everyone for joining us. I think we can kind of put this to bed, in the next month or two. Really, the next couple of weeks, you're going to get your biggest allotment back. And then after that, I would hope by June, everything is kind of closed. Yeah, there is a, kind of a wind down that people could get stuff back from, but the major parts of the funds. And Crypto Ricky, we're thinking 1 to 2 weeks, right? I'm expecting the judge to sign off on this, maybe as early as Friday, but maybe as late as early next week. And then I'm thinking probably by the end of the month should be over in terms of the actual 50%. Now, yes, the 445. I'm thinking 2 months. That's going to be, but I'm thinking at some point they're going to resolve that. I don't see that happening over a year or several months. I think they're going to resolve it because I don't think FTX has a huge leg to stand on. So we're looking anywhere between a 48 to 50% recovery right now, and then you're talking about another 20 to 25%. So looking maximum probably around 75%, depending on the FTX thing. But let's get the 50% back. And if you did opt into the Binance US, you should have gotten an email. And I'm expecting, Mr. FOMO, some emails to pop open over the next few days in terms of next steps. Yes, I do think they'll win the Almeida. I think there'll be a settlement, and I think Almeida will get back around 75 to 100 million, somewhere around there, my guess, and then we'll move forward. So, Mr. FOMO, people should definitely be checking their emails over the next 5 to 7 days.
I think that's probably a wise decision, because you're going to get some information probably pretty quickly once this decision is made, or once the judge signs off on it. This probably will come unraveled pretty quickly, because there's nothing left to stand in the way. At least I hope not. I mean, there's nothing foreseeable, but with what's been going on, I remember when we first started this, we thought this would be tied up much quicker.
Yeah, we were thinking September, October at the worst.
And so we often look at these things with rose-colored glasses. So I wouldn't be surprised if it takes a little bit longer than maybe you mentioned. Well, strictly because that's just how the justice system works.
So, by the way, if you could hit that like button, that bell notification, most importantly, if you haven't done so, that subscribe button, that greatly helps us out. By the way, on this channel, we are just getting started. This is just the beginning, guys. This is got an exciting bull run coming up, and this channel is hoping to go to new heights, right? So get us to 500, help us get to 500 subs. That would be greatly appreciated. I think, Mr. FOMO, what we're looking at here is I think they've already done the rebalancing completely. And I think Binance is ready to go. And Binance is anxious to get these people on board as soon as possible, knowing some of them will leave. And we need to talk about the dangers of staying versus leaving and all that stuff. I think it is the time to rebuild. And I think right now, as you wait for your funds to return, you want to think about what projects you want to rebalance with. I think that's really important.
I think before you get too far, I think you mentioned something pre-show when we were talking earlier about BNB. Why don't you mention the sort of the logic behind your...
So BNB does give a discount up to 25% on some transactions on Binance US. Also, just kind of a coincidence, there was 2 million burned BNB. And Bitcoin has, obviously, if you've been paying attention, gone down to 29K, a little over 29K. So there's a bit of a dip in the market. If you do plan to sell your assets or transfer your assets, it would be a very good idea to have some BNB. And because the market is down right now, it might not be a horrible idea, not financial advice, to get some if you're going to be in the situation where you're planning to send your crypto to a ledger or some other wallet. Because, as we talked about this, exchanges are not safe. And do I think Binance US is going to be insolvent anytime soon? I do not. But there is always a danger of it happening. And we learned the hard way. You don't want to be caught with your pants down twice. Obviously, we want to remind our viewers about FTX. That could have been a disaster. And looking back, we got lucky, right? Because that could have been just a gigantic nightmare. I know the rumors that they want to restart. I think that's all baloney right now. I don't think they're anywhere safe. That hasn't come out in court documents. I really do think that's a lot of hype that's being created.
That's Sam. Sam finally got tired of playing around on the computer and decided to pump and dump more FTT. Was that
Yeah.
all
So
all that rumor did was send that up and down for a day.
So,
That was the sole purpose of that.
So I do think as you wait over the next, I would say 7 to 10 to 14 days to get your first 48 to 50% back, what are you going to be putting it in? And we've given some ideas in terms of this, but remember, the BTC halving you want to keep in mind is next March, right? And traditionally we've talked about the show. It doesn't mean for sure. There has been a cold summer before the Bitcoin halving, right? Most summers, if you looked at the last few Mays, guys, even the May at the end of the bull run was awful, right? Last May was horrific. And so as we go into May, you want to consider the fact that there might be a pullback. Then we're getting a lot of questions. So initial, guys, if you're just joining the show, 48 to 50% around there. And then we're looking for another 20 to 25, depending on what happens with FTX Alameda resolution. So you're not going to get everything back in one swoop. So just understand that first. Remember, you can go to your claim number right now and easy math, whatever it says, look about 50%. So, right, you're whatever your percentage of, if you had $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, and that's all you had, you're now looking at getting about $5,000 worth of Bitcoin, right? Whatever, how much Bitcoin equals $5,000, and then you can expect the rest in a couple months. So you can do some easy math. You remember, the Voyager app is still obviously up and running, even though Voyager hasn't been for a long time. You go look at your claim number, see where you're at, do about a 50%, and that's about a little under that, maybe a little over 48 to 52. But I'm proud, plan for the worst of 48. If you get a 50 or a little bit higher, great. And then the rest, you're going to have to wait, right? So that, unfortunately, this is not completely done. I mean, the big part is, but for over 400 million is nothing to sneeze about. So that's going to still happen.
And we talked about that FTT at the time they were loaning out FTT or swapping FTT. They knew they had a token that wasn't as valuable as they were claiming. And so I have a hard time believing that they're going to claw back very much money for something that was essentially valueless. I'm no lawyer. I'm no finance expert, but it seems to me that if you're offering up something that you have a feeling is valueless, or that you are propping up, you're probably not going to have a leg to stand on in court. And so I have a feeling we're going to get hopefully a large percentage of the rest of that 20%, 25% back. So hopefully by the end of this, you'll really see closer to 70 or 75% of what you actually have in that final claim.
Yeah, hopefully. And we don't know a definite timeline for that for sure. I'm expecting by June that will be resolved sometime in June. Worst case, I think sometime in the summer. I don't expect this to be, a 6 to 1 year thing. I think this is a 4 to 8 to 12 week thing at the worst. Who knows? Might get it resolved early May. And so this might be over 3 weeks from now. We might not have to mention this again. But we'll see. We'll keep you guys updated. But again, we're now talking about recovery and really maximizing what. And yes, this doesn't really apply to us anymore. But yeah, the DOJ and Voyager are negotiating the clause because Voyager obviously feels like Steve did something horribly wrong and he could be gone after. So that's something to really, really, really consider. It won't affect us. Thankfully, cooler heads prevailed. Finally, it was a giant waste of an extra month. But Sam, Alex from Celsius, and Steve really did some horrible things to people, ruined a lot of people's lives, put people's lives on hold, and hopefully justice is done in the long run.
Which one do you think is the worst of those three people? Is it
Sam was doing so in terms of fraud,
Steve for still collecting checks?
Well, Sam was by far defrauded the most amount of money. However, Celsius lied for over a year, and Alex defrauded. I mean, Alex, the gall of him to show up at an NFT conference is just insane to me. Steve has never apologized. He's still taking a full check. So, that's hard to say. Like, who do you hate the most out of all your enemies? But for us, obviously, it's going to be Steve the most. But I think the word closer here is what we have to really, really, really get a hold of here. We finally have closure, and it is almost all over. And so what we're going to do on Thursday, which is tomorrow, hopefully, is give you guys some tokens to think about rebalancing with and get ready, because you want to be prepared in terms of where you're going to take your stuff and what you're going to have to hopefully get yourself up to 100% recovery. And we're not talking about 100% recovery from that day. We're talking about what would your portfolio actually be worth today? And can you get all your money back that you invested? That's what 100% recovery is back. So we want to talk about that. VGX is included in part of the deal. People talk about VGX. So, you have to look at your total claim. You're going to get 50% back. In terms of how they're going to give back VGX, I'm not 100% sure. We will have to wait and see. That information will be coming out.
As far as I know, as Voyager creditors, we no longer are owners of VGX, right? Like, we'll get the value of our VGX, but we won't get VGX anymore, right? And the only people who actually own VGX are the people that are playing with it on other exchanges, right?
Yeah.
And so the contract,
so they're gonna finalize that. There was a time where people thought that they were going to get VGX, then have to transfer it over somewhere else and sell it.
Yeah,
I think what's going to happen is you're going to get the cash value.
That would be dependent on another company coming in and buying the contract.
Yeah. Right? And there's no there's been rumors, but nothing definite about that.
Right.
Yeah.
The only people who have come in and talked about it are people who have been trying to come in and get publicity for their, minor crypto exchanges. I forget even the companies that were popping up and saying they were interested in buying them. But we even looked at some of their financials and whatever they had, made that quarter, and they couldn't swing that kind of a deal
as we
even
put
for the contract.
As we put this show to a close, let's just be realistic about VGX. Don't expect someone to buy the contract and revitalize it. If it happens, great. But I'm just telling you guys realistically, it's not. Yeah, well, thank you guys for coming in. We really appreciate it. Remember, we are just getting started. This is just the beginning of the channel. So share this with people that are into crypto or think about getting crypto. Get them on board, because we've had some winners lately, and we got some good picks for tomorrow. We're not quite ready to give away, but
it was funny that we talked about VGX here at the end. We really thought that somebody would grab that contract and use it as sort of a turnkey business, walking into blockchain and being able to use that and move forward. But in a space where you can pretty much copy someone's, white paper and their code and move forward from there, I don't think it's necessary to go in and buy someone's contract when you can, either create your own or, copy and paste someone else's and call it yours. So
yeah, we're getting some late.
I don't think it's going to be there.
Remember, guys, Alameda is without the 50%, so that's good. You're getting the 50 before Alameda, and then we're hoping in the next 1 to 2 months that gets resolved. So 50 for now, 48 to 50 for now, 70 to 75 total, hopefully early this summer. So, guys, good news. Finally, got a good break today. You can expect some stuff back in your Binance US account, which you should hopefully have by now in the next 1 to 2 weeks. After that, more coming back in the summer. And now is the time to plan, right? And we'll talk about that tomorrow. How should you prepare for this incoming crypto? And what are some tokens right now that you could look at tomorrow to even help you out as you wait? All of that will be covered. Guys, we want to thank you so much. Again, please hit that like, please hit that subscribe button. We are only just getting started. We are glad today was a good day, but for this channel, we're hoping to go nowhere but up. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. You guys have an excellent day. We'll see you later.
See you.